This podcast, brought to you by Anchor, is currently non-profit making and is based on the second edition coursebook on international history from 1870 to 1945 for Cambridge International AS Level History. Welcome again to another episode of Series 9, The League of Nations and International Relations in the 1930s. Today, I'll be going over what the Stresa Front was and how Britain responded to the remilitarisation of the Rhineland. The Stresa Front was an alliance between Britain, France and Italy that was agreed on 14th of April 1935 when their prime ministers met to discuss their concerns towards Germany. In Stresa, Italy, they signed an agreement which established the Stresa Front. The aim was to reiterate the terms of the Locarno treaties, maintain Austrian independence, and resist future attempts to flout the terms of the Treaty of Versailles. However, the Stresa Front had a number of weaknesses. For example, the terms of the agreement were unclear and did not agree on the actions that would be taken by Britain, France, and Italy to support the aims of the front. As a matter of fact, preventing Hitler from carrying out his aims would mean a full-scale invasion of Germany, but none of the countries were prepared to take any action of such a scale. Let's look at a factor that showed the failure of the Stresa Front. In June 1935, Britain and Germany signed the Anglo-German Naval Agreement, in which Germany was allowed to increase its navy to a maximum of 1/3 of the British Navy. This was done without consulting Italy or France. While this guaranteed that Britain would have a superior navy, Britain was allowing Germany to break a term of the Treaty of Versailles, which had severely limited the German navy. This defeated one of the main aims of the Stresa Front. Furthermore, by signing the agreement, Britain's opposition to German rearmament had been effectively removed. Therefore, Hitler felt free to continue to increase the size of his army. He ordered the construction of new battleships and began to develop a large and efficient air force. In October 1935, Mussolini invaded Abyssinia. He had expected his Stresa Front allies not to oppose him. However, when they supported the sanctions imposed on Italy by the League of Nations, he withdrew Italy from the League and the Stresa Front. France was worried by the remilitarisation of Germany and Britain's acceptance of it, and felt increasingly isolated and vulnerable after the Stresa Front had collapsed. Despite the fact that they were reluctant and considered the communist country to be untrustworthy, they signed a treaty of mutual assistance with the USSR in 1935. This is because they shared similar concerns with the USSR. In their Treaty of Mutual Assistance, they agreed to support each other in the event of an attack by another European nation. Now on to the question of why Britain and France did not take any action when Hitler defied the Treaty of Versailles. Firstly, many countries around the world, including Britain and France, were still suffering from effects of the Great Depression, so they did not wish to engage in combat or impose economic sanctions, as this could damage their own economies. Secondly, Hitler was very persuasive and was able to convince other countries that his motives were peaceful and logical. He justified his actions, for example, remilitarisation of the Rhineland and rearmament, by arguing that he was only correcting the harsh terms of the unfair Treaty of Versailles and that Germany was simply defending itself and had the right to do so. This was accepted in Britain, as many people there had believed that the treaty was too harsh. Moreover, British politicians believed that a strong Germany would be a good defence against communism. Finally, Neville Chamberlain became British Prime Minister in May 1937. He believed in following a policy of appeasement, as he felt that dealing with Hitler by negotiation rather than confrontation was the best way to go. This is the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening.